Guys, it's the next morning, and last night I tried to run it around by the shop, and I did, but it was just too dark to do any filming. Probably should have. Anyway, so I ran it on the pavement. It hooks up good. It would screw. It like literally lift the front tires off the ground about 2 or 3 inches. And went in the sand pit, did some donuts with it, you know, beat on it a little. Everything seemed like it was doing fine. 4-wheel drive worked and functioned correctly. Brakes were nice. The CVT transmission shifted well. No issues with that. But so it was too dark last night, and I put it on my truck, and I brought it to where we're gonna go ride it in the trails. I figured we'd go for a little jaunt in the woods. It's fall, the leaves are coming down, and go find ourselves a nice little pond or something to park. And you know, after about 5 or 10 minutes of video, we can do our sign off. Unfortunately, it's having an issue, and I don't know if it's the same issue that it was before, but I'll show you. So, purrs like a kitten. And then nothing. Kind of like what it was doing before, but before you couldn't even move the machine. Like you could ride it, it'll probably go up to about 15-20 miles an hour, but it'll just rev, you know, it starts breaking up. My thought, possibly what happened, before I even say that, so I tried draining the fuel in the carb. It's got like, there's a bleeder on the bottom where you could drain the fuel bowl, and possibly if there's water or something like that in there, debris, it'll drain itself out. Made no difference whatsoever. So my thought is when I backed it off the trailer and I put it in reverse, and I think possibly it may have a governor of sorts in reverse that doesn't allow it to rev very high, and maybe one of those switches are stuck and it's not allowing it to rev at a higher RPM. I would think though the reverse light would stay on if that was the case. I don't have answers right now. So, although we would like to have done a trail ride on the end and, you know, kumbaya party, but it's just not going to happen. It does not want to play well. It's going to fight us. But I guess there's going to be a part 2. We have other things to kind of go address anyway. The winch set up on the front. We got the fan that's frozen for the cooling. Although in cooler weather it would be fine, but for like now, in the summertime, if you were doing a lot of slow riding, you'd probably have a good chance of cooking a motor. So we just have to go address that. Got tired of that going down. Again, the winch relocating down lower on the frame in the front there. Maybe even make a little bit beefier front end on it. But that will be for another video. Hey guys, and how's it going? Hey, we're going to continue on this 2003 Yamaha Kodiak that I picked up that needed some love. It was having run issues and a bunch of other problems. So we already knocked out one video of trying to bring it back to life. Unfortunately, it started acting up right when it was all done and ready to do the test drive. And I'll show you what that is and what we're going to try and fix. And what that would be is you turn it on, fire it up, it idles fine, go to rev it up. That's what it does. It's not, I don't believe it is starving for fuel. The first time around it had a dirty carb and fuel was bad and everything. But it did run good for about 10 minutes. I actually rode it and it went full throttle. And now it actually kind of acts like it's in limp mode or sparks cutting out over a certain RPM. So that's where we're going to go try chasing further on and see what we can come up with. All right, let's get a spark plug tester on it and we'll see if the light flickers and goes out. See if we're losing spark and kind of zero in on what direction we should be chasing. That's what I mean by a spark checker. This will flash an orange light as it is running every time it gets a pulse, and we'll see if that stays going or if it drops out on us. Sometimes the camera might not pick up very well too, but I'll give you a heads up what I see it doing. It does seem pretty consistent. It's not always a great indicator, but it does seem like spark is staying on. I don't know. I'm gonna let me go pop the float bowl back off the carburetor again, dig a bunch of this plastic out of the way, and see what we got going on. Like I said, after it was done, it ran perfect, and then we just lost it when it sat overnight and tried to run it the next day. All right, I got the airbox off. We're going to look at that slide. Make sure that slide is lifting up like it should. Definitely could be the issue too. So let's go crank her up. Yeah. No, it's not that. Kind of thinking too, like even if the CDI does it bounce. I'm trying to think of what we kind of screwed around with. And in here, I believe we have, one's gonna be like a neutral safety switch, one's gonna be reverse, letting it know it's in reverse, is my guess. Maybe we'll play with trying to unplug some of these and see if we get a different something out of it. Possibly there's a issue with one of them thinking that it's in reverse and maybe it does not allow it to rev when it's in reverse. I don't know, the carb seems like it's doing what it's supposed to. So I popped each one off. Top one's reverse. This is park on this one, and this wire is neutral, sending signals to the dash. This one I'm not sure. Maybe it's the 4x4 going in and out, would be my guess. And I do not see that, I don't think that unplugs. Maybe it unplugs in a harness, wherever it goes. May go chase that. I'm thinking maybe we'll just kind of go over some, we're just kind of, you know, winging it right now. I may just open up a bunch of the connectors, see if we have any corrosion going on in anything, and then the CDI is right here. Maybe we'll lift that up, we'll check that plug, see if there's anything going on with that, and you know, whatever else we can kind of find out that's in there. Not quite. There's a relay. It's probably a starter relay, but that's the starter relay. I'm not sure what that one's going to be. Let's just see if we can find something that's, you know, aiding and abetting. If we don't, I may go pull that carb off again and we'll just take a quick look and see if anything is happening with it that, you know, either jet fell out or, I don't know, it idles perfect. So I started with the connections over here. I pulled them all apart and I don't see anything outstanding. I believe it's this one is the one that went down to that transmission that we were talking about with the bolt plugged on it. My guess is maybe 4-wheel drive, but all these look pretty clean. I'm gonna go hit them with some contact cleaner. That one looks a little funky, huh? I'll hit them with some contact cleaner and then we'll fire it up and we'll just keep on trying to you know, zero in or eliminate different things. What about the wire that's under it? My other guess is maybe like whatever signal, it has to have a pulse generator somewhere telling the engine, you know, what RPM and where that's in. So that has to be able to communicate somewhere on the crank to tell the computer what RPMs it's running at, and you know, maybe that connector or that pickup could be bad too. So, all right, so I put those back together, and really there's no difference, but I did find something. I tried. Fire it up. Same, right? If I stick my finger in the carb and I hold the slide from going up, it does seem like the RPMs are allowed to go higher when I get rid of the stop the velocity from going up. So it may be in that carb after all. Again, I'm still trying to brainstorm what's happening. Before I do that and I jump onto there, one last thing. I still want to kind of get the computer out of there. I want to look at the contacts on here and make sure that there's no issues with this plug too. Yeah, so let's get that lifted up out of there and just take a peek at it. So this is the computer that controls the spark, and the plugs look pretty clean. I do not see anything with this. Look, I mean, it looks dry, and I don't see any deformalities much in the case, like a big hot spot or anything that went on. It is starting to look like it's back on fuel again. So I'm going to button this stuff back up, and we'll take that carb off of there. See if we can see anything that happened, or the thing was it. I don't feel like it's something that was put together wrong, vacuum hoses and that kind of thing, because it did run perfect. I really ran it for 10 minutes and I shut it off, got cold, and then the next day it wouldn't run. So, and it was like right off the bat it wouldn't run. It's kind of a rubber. It's not a solid epoxy. It's a like a rubber base that's in there. Probably better, that way it can kind of expand and contract with the cold and hot temperatures. Yeah. Alright, so get to the point where I was going to rip the carburetor off and start to take hoses off and look at things, and I glance over. I don't know if you can see it. You see the orange wire? You see the wire next to it? The wire next to it's all burnt. Get you in there a little closer. That one? That goes up to the coil. It looks like it is possibly the ground for the coil. So let's go open up, let's take this rack back off, take this piece of plastic off the front, see if we could access that coil, take a peek, see what's going on inside there. I have a feeling maybe we are losing ground to the coil, and that would kind of make sense. It just, I don't know. Although we saw spark keep going and it's kind of pointing towards fuel, for some reason I keep kind of going back to spark. I don't know. Get that front plastic off of there, and it looks like this one right here is the one going to the coil. And it looks like, so this is the plug going down the rest of the way to the coil, and this is coming up from the electrical system. It also looks like it's almost like it's burnt together. I'm gonna have to ground it out. I want to made it all the way through. They're shorting each other out right there. I don't know. Definitely doesn't look like it should, does it? I don't know if like high resistance in the coil would, like what would cause that. Again, I don't know if one is ground and one's a signal. You would think that yeah, look at the other side of it, how punky it is. I'm not quite sure where that's bolted down. I don't know if I have to get this whole plastic thing off the front, which is going to be somewhat involved. I don't know if it goes down under the you gotta take the running boards and everything off, don't you? Yeah, we know how much fun that's going to be. I wonder if I could wiggle that coil out. I'm going to see if I can get up in there, unbolt that coil. Probably should undo this connection right here too and see if we have any cooked high resistance. I'm not gonna be able to do that one-handed. I'll bring you back when I get that open. Yep, I pulled that plug off. The black definitely goes to the ground. It bolts to the outside of the coil. I just pulled, you can see it up in there. I pulled the orange off of that terminal, and then the other is a ground. So it looks like it was having a poor ground going to it. I wonder if maybe we could hook that up and leave the black. I don't know if we can do that. So we leave the black off of it. You can see the plug's all cooked too on the inside. And run a jumper down to it and then see if it kind of, the problem goes away. What we do is separate the orange wire. I wonder what had caused it and what was the original failure. I was kind of thinking maybe, well, if the fan was locked up, is it on the same circuit? Was like the fan trying to use the ground also and it overcooked it? I don't know. So we'll plug that back in. And actually, what I'm going to do, I think a razor blade, I'm going to slice this little jacket. Can we just pull it apart? Yeah. Kind of isolate those two so it's not touching. I got to look up top too, the rest of, what this plugged into. And we'll see if it's burnt where they're kind of jumping across each other too, because that would reduce voltage going to the coil also. Good if that was our problem. Got a bad coil too. I wonder if the coil's just trying to draw too much. That shouldn't be it. It's not like it. I don't know. I'll jump ahead. So let's glue some stuff together, put some jumpers on, and see if we get any difference. All right, fire in the hole. You can get anything. Nope, still not playing well. Keep digging. I may go pull, I think maybe we can kind of split the plastics here, get this off of the front, and I kind of want to get in there and look at, see what happened and repair that. I'm kind of thinking also with the, I don't know, like why I don't have answers yet. I want to try to get this plastic off if I can without too much trouble. Kind of looking around at how it's attached. I think last time we tried getting the running board off and that's what was fighting us. Plus we want to, while we're in there, we can probably get to the electric fan. Yeah, that was easy. So I'm kind of looking at things and I'm regrouping on it. And I'm thinking that the coil is bolted right to the frame. It really should not need an external ground to feed that. Anyway, the bolt, get rid of this. The bolt that the coil is bolted down to is what that black wire goes to. It doesn't go to the coil, it just bolts to the frame. I'm thinking what they did, the orange wire is a signal going to the coil, and then the black wire was just a ground point for the harness, and possibly, maybe it went, we found that the fan was locked up, it didn't turn. I wonder if that was the ground for the fan or the ground for the thermocouple, and because it was locked up, it caused it to cook a little, and that's why that wire is burnt, and maybe it has nothing to do with it. Good thing we pulled it apart too. Look at the radiator, all the dirt that's packed in there. So, while we get that nose off, we'll deal with whatever's going on with that fan, or get another fan motor, possibly free it up. But again, I'm getting sidetracked. So I don't think this is going to help us. I'm going to fire it up one more time. I'm probably just going to disconnect the black wire altogether, and we'll run the orange one to the coil. So I'll see where else, goes from there. It just kind of hides in the harness, so you can't really tell where it goes. I don't see it melted to any other wires besides that one. That's the one we're talking about. Yeah, then it just goes into the heart of the harness. You can't tell from there. So onward. I think we go back to the carb and where I was complete, pulling that back out and looking at it again, because although we get sidetracked with that burnt wire, which seemed like a good idea, I don't think that is what our issue is. Let's go fire it up one more time if we can. Now that everything's all over the place, see if everything still works. You're in there somewhere. Nope, not it. Seemed a little better though, didn't it? A little higher RPM. All right, let's open that carb. All right, come out of there, you little troublemaker. I'm gonna put up a fight for that too. Come on out. There you go. And let's go bring her to the bench, crack her open, and see if we can find anything. Yeah, let's start with a urine sample out of it. We should put a cracked up bowl on if any fuel's left in it. There you go. We'll let that piss out and we'll see if there's anything. I highly doubt if there can be any water in it. I'm here rattling. I'm wondering if the jet fell out. Possibility. Okay, been that dumb to not get it good and tight. I think we're this is the screw that we had to. Yeah, I got to get a. Hold on a second. We got to get a better screwdriver. We do it right because we do it twice. So that one was stripped out last time. We had to go cut a groove in it. Ah, oh, you suck. So the barrel. Yeah. Yes. So it was just running too much fuel. You idiot. I didn't have it tight enough. And it shook itself apart. Chasing electrical issues, going through all that crap. Now, lesson learned. Sometimes you're just a moron. You do dumb shit. Well, we wanted to work on that fan anyway, didn't we? You know, while we're here, let's just check. Huh. I gotta look back at the old footage on, actually I didn't film putting the carburetor together. There's where you went wrong. You guys would have been able to tell me. Everything looks pretty clean. Yeah, without the jet, it just runs too rich, floods itself over, and can't run. We found some other stuff too. Education, I tell you. Which one had the bail on it? That one? I think so, right? All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go take some time and go put all this back together, and give it another shot. See how it runs then. While we're in here, this seal was not doing what it was supposed to be doing. We were getting some seepage coming around the bowl. I cleaned that track out best I could. I'm gonna go see if I have another one. Even if we have to steal it off another carb, it's got like a bunch of impregnated corrosion in the rubber. That too, maybe we could flip it over the other side if I can't find one. I'm gonna do a little bit of shopping. So how close is the carb kit for a Yamaha TW200? Looks like it's got a different kind of weird step to it. Nope, not it. Unfortunately, I think this is the one I was thinking of. I got it back together. I couldn't find a gasket, but I cleaned that surface up as best as I could, and I think we may have it. So what I was doing earlier, I was holding this slide from velocity stack from lifting up, and that has the needle. As that lifts up, the air fuel mixture richens up. That's where the fuel is drawn through with that needle. You can see it's progressive. It's got a taper to it. So I was holding it down. It wasn't allowing as much fuel to go in. That's probably why it ran a little bit better. It's kind of like indicating carburetor issues. So, yeah, it's just a regular throttle right there. Let's go put her all back together and fire it up, see what we get. All right, got her back together, kind of, sort of. Let's figure out. Key's already on. Shouldn't need choke. Let's give her a crank. Okay, guys. I need two hands. Let's give her a little bit of choke just to try to get the throttle up. Choke off. That's better. Idiot. Who's the idiot that was working on this? All right. I just wanted to prolong the agony. So I'm gonna just go over things, make sure I got everything buttoned up. I think while we got everything apart, because we planned it this way, let's go see if we can get that fan out of there and see if we can get that fan either free up, find out what's wrong with it, you know, possibly order another one, but I want to get that out and see if we could possibly save it. So what do you think the chances are that's gonna wiggle right on out of there? That's close. Yeah. So close. Got a radiator. I need to lift that up. Yeah, remember, we still got to get back in there too, so. Come on, you're like there. Any other way to get it out? Try putting the two to the top. You're almost there. It's like, climb up on it. Yeah. Just a teaser. We're gonna call you Eleanor. One of those machines that just don't want to play well. We got to get a bolt out right there. And allow this hose to go over a little. Yeah. Not sped up. Give me that last little bit. Come on. There we go. All right, let's go bring that to the bench and see if we could save it. I think chances are if we just kind of give her a little, it's got a little movement in it. There it goes. Can we get some lube in her? Everything moves better with lube, right? I don't know if we can access, there's like a little vent cap because here's another area back in here. So it has a breather. Oh, looks like water got down in there though. Let's go see if we can get it. Kind of looks like it's welded together, so I don't think we'll be able to get it. Goes about 3/4 of the way. There it goes. A lot of drag though. I don't know if we can. It looks like it's got like a pin. It's pinched over on here. Actually, looks like a weld, doesn't it? Right there. And it looks like that cap is welded on it. I don't know about the front end. You can keep working now. I wonder if we can hook like if we get like a drill or something. Probably get a drill on that nut. If we get it free enough, not gonna snap it off, and we'll just kind of work it. We could probably shoot some oil down inside that tube, the vent tube there. Basically on a four-wheel, like a lot of like the rear differentials. As temperature on anything changes, it can create a vacuum or pressure. So it's not sealed. So there's always a vent tube going to or from one, and the vent tube has to run up high somewhere so that, like, especially if you go in water. Say we'll use a differential for example. It's hot, and then as soon as you hit the water, it cools. Well, then it wants to draw in because it's cooling down. It's the nature of things. And so if there's it has a vent somewhere on it, or it doesn't have a vent, it'll try sucking it in through the seals on the axles. But if it does have a vent, it's going to draw in from there. So they run a tube from that up to someplace high, and that's where they all are. They're all up around like where the handlebar is, the highest part of the machine, the vent tube, and that's what that vent tube went to. I don't know if at some point it went underwater, because I could actually see like rust going down the throat of it. Let's I don't think we're going to do it any harm. It's not freeing up any more than that. Let's see if we can get a bunch in there. Try to work that, and maybe we'll get a drill hooked up to it. Like I said, we'll try to spin it with the drill and just get the bearings free. Nothing's saying the motor's any good still, but I figure we'll give it a shot. I actually see. Let's wait for that to stop. I actually see 3 screws right here. I wonder if maybe it splits right there, or if it's just a flange that it's holding to. My guess is just going to be a flange. I don't see that splitting. That and that look like they're the same size. That's got a lot of drag. What do we got to lose, right? Let's go take it apart. I don't know if we should take the blade out of our way. I'll try taking the screws out first and see if we can get any kind of wiggle out of it. I guess it's that sat. Come on, no, they're gonna just rip out. Nah, they're just camming out. Right screwdriver, just not enough to, let's, I'm gonna work some oil. I'm gonna run a tube down inside there, fill this up with oil a little bit, and we'll try to work it and know, worst case scenario, we're gonna go cut that open. Let's try getting that fan off of there. Possibly we can be able to get in there to put some oil behind it. There we go. And now we can get to that bearing. Looks like I got it soaked pretty good to begin with. I'm gonna put that nut back on there and put it on a drill. I just rounded it off. Yeah. Yeah, to get a better socket, and we'll try hooking it into a drill, see if we can spin it. Yeah, try that. Let's go pick up the pace a little. Kick her in a second. Doesn't feel promising. There's no way it's going to spin on its own. Let's go back to what we were talking about. Let's go get a little tube and we'll try feeding oil up inside there and let it splash around. How about some WD? Pressurize ourselves in here. Problem is there's no place for the air to go, you know? It's not like there's another hole on the other end that we may end up drilling in it. Trying to get some fluids in it. My guess would be that back bearing. Getting warm. So I'm going to do that for a little bit. I'll bring you back. I'm going to just kind of run it and work it and see if we get any kind of freedom to it. If we do get to free up, then we'll put power to it and see if anything happens. I've been working it. It's actually, I think, the front bearing, because I was rinsing it out and it's not doing it now, but it was pissing rust out when I would go to rinse it. So it's definitely, I don't know if it's a bearing, it's probably a bushing more than a bearing. Definitely getting better. I wouldn't say great though. Still got a lot of drag to it. Part of me is wanting to drill a hole right in the back there, a little pinhole, see if we can get some fluid into that side of it. Yeah, still too chalky to put power to it. I am thinking that was the ground wire too, because here's the black wire on here. I wonder if that's just where they were picking up ground on it. It was drawing so much heat, it just kind of cooked the wire because the fan couldn't spin. Like the current went up. We're going in. How about like on an angle like that? Let's try it right there. As I stab it in my fingers. Let's go slower down. I think the variable speed on my drill crapped out. Yeah, it's just on or off. Yeah, I can see rust literally. Rust came out of the hole. You can see it from the drill bit alone. All right, let's go soak that. Now we'll spin it. How good's the warranty on these drills? I got another one over there. Yeah, there it's going. We'll work that. I'm wanted to get any of the rinse out of it. Actually, we could probably blow through it now. Now we got that other end opened up, right? Let me point that down, see if it'll piss some fluid out. Oh yeah, look at the rust coming out of it. Let's do that again. Rust is just like blowing right through. Let's give it a white rag. Might as well fill it right up with wherever we can, right? There you go. Let's spin it a little bit, let that stuff wash around. Getting better. Who knows if there's any. No rust was inside that motor. I'll do that a couple more times and we'll try hooking power to it. Starting to feel pretty free now. Gotta be free enough to spin with our fingers lightly. And I think even that's still too much drag. All right, I can keep picking away at it. All right, it's a few days later. Actually, about a week later. I believe our fan came in. One of my fans. It's I think a universal one too. Let's go pop that out of another box. See how close it is to fit. One of those, you go on eBay and they tell you, this will fit that. Sure it will. Only other one was a used fan. Untested. And I seem to have found out in the past when something says untested, it means they tested it and it doesn't work. Let's go get the old one. We'll lay it over the top of that and we'll go see how close two of those are together. Essentially just those 3 mounting holes. Oh, look at that. All right. Let's grab the blade. Probably looks like it'll even do better. Yeah, definitely a little bit more surface area on that one. Let's try hooking a jumper pack up to this one. See how she spins. Ready? I'm just gonna. Let's hold her down. Oh yeah. That seems pretty good. Make sure it's going the right direction. So the air is coming out this way. No, it's going that way. So that bolts to the radiator. Right? Yeah, it draws through. Good. I think it's even got the right plug on it. Kind of surprised. It is an exact fit. I'll be damned. Let's go look at that radiator. I think it's got a bunch of crap in it. Yeah, judging by the amount of dirt that's packed in there. Let's go try. I don't know if it's an air gun will do it or. Yeah, let's just try. If we can get through the front of it. Hitting it with an air gun. Can this piece come out? Maybe we'll flush it a little. I'm trying to think if we can just get my hand in with an air gun. Let's I'm gonna do a little bit of unbolting, make it easier for us anyway. I'm gonna get some of this stuff out of our way. I have a feeling we're gonna kind of work on this and get this into a different location, so we might as well take it apart. So without further ado, I'm gonna go hit it with some impact guns. I think the chances are that's gonna come out of there. These came out. Again, there's no real way to get to them. Got one on the other side. We could probably put some heat on those though. Let's try those uppers. There you go, those will come out. Here's the two on the bottom. Maybe we can loosen both of these, we could like rock the frame. It'll help loosen it. Get the upper two around. See if it's got any movement to it. There we go. Or we could just kind of pull it down. If you loosen this up, we might be able to swing the whole thing. Let me try throwing the wrench on the bottom. That we wiggled it a little. There we go. You like that? Freedom, I tell you. Top heavy. I would have thought the upper bars would have had a little bit more attachment to it. It's just the two little thin rails that were connected. So the two fat ones there, but this is the only thing holding the upper. I thought that would have been a little bit more supported. All right, what we got going on over here? 1, 2, and 3 and 4. Let's get this out of our way, and we'll start trying to blow that out at least, and then reassemble the fan. Looks like a face, doesn't it? Like a frog. Yeah, so we'll kick some dust out of it. I keep working on that. I can turn the fan on. It makes a nice haze in here. I turn on the fans and evacuate. It looks pretty good, unless you can see the light through it now. Gotta see through the whole thing. Much better. A little bit right there. Good. I think the chances are that that's gonna just drop right in there. Oh, come on. Yeah, the other one put up a fight getting out. Looking good. Awesome. Get that bolted up, and I think I may take a moment and start buttoning up some of the plastic going across. We can probably reassemble, and then we'll work on that winch setup. I'm not sure which one's going to come first, but let me get that taken care of, and I think it's the next thing I want to jump on, fixing that. I turned the key on. I'm going to hit it with a heat gun. This is the thermocouple that tells the fan to come on. It probably will work with just the key on not being running. I'm going to throw a little bit of heat on that area. You probably just would have been a smart idea to put a test light on one side of that, see if we had power on one side. Let's see what happens. You know, let's take that off. It will jump it. We'll jump this connector. We'll see if the fan comes on. Make sure I'm not trying to overheat the thing, you know. Give me a second. We'll get that off and put a jumper across it. There we go. Let's see if that does. Yeah, so I'll go. I can just push the wires right out of it. Yep. If that thermocouple gets hot enough, it should do what it's supposed to do. Should. If not, I'll have to get one of those. Everything else is functioning. we're kind of sitting on an angle, but I want to try to come in down here, probably right about there somewhere, kind of tuck it underneath. I was thinking that they probably do make a bracket for here. This has the fairlead, wherever that ended up. So the fairlead is the mounting base plate that this sits on, like that. And those two just get bolted together. And this is the guide for the cable, so it doesn't run off the roller. So this is what we have to kind of locate somehow. And I don't see much to kind of work with. I'm sure we could weld up some brackets. This whole assembly is really beat up. The whole nose of it is pretty trashed, and all the holes that are drilled in it. I have a front end off of something that somebody gave to me. Let me go grab that real quick, and we'll just kind of eyeball that, see if it might be a little bit better structure to try and work with than this thing. So that's what we had. This is what we got. I don't know what it's off of. It does look like it already took a hit at some point too. It's got a bit of a twist to it, but it looks like it's got a 1 1/4 inch receiver set up for like a little hitch to go on it. Well, I do believe it's for a front setup. The two mounting points I see right there kind of look fairly close to that. I'm gonna go take a tape measure. We'll measure across, see if that'll kind of grab the bottom bolts. Yeah, look at the twist that's on it. Might be able to cut. Maybe we'll cut all this right off of it, and you could slice these guys, weld them onto this. Let me go lay it out and look at it. If I can get back far enough from it to see what it looks like. I think that definitely is a lot more stout looking. And we should have room to get the winch. It can come forward more because you want to clear the tires of it. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to lay some of the plastics back on it again and give us a point where they sit. Like here's where the bolt hole on this rack is, and then the original spot is down there. I think we might be better off, like I said, though, cutting that whole front section off. It's already so twisted. It's all at least 1/8 inch, so it's not like I can just go bend it back into shape and put it on. But I like that better. Maybe we can kind of come up with something that we could tie back to a better part of the frame than the two little skinny tubes that they had going. I think it went right to there. They had two stronger ones on the bottom, and then that little skinny tube going up to this. And then we can, at the same time, maybe make a plate winch. I'm gonna go throw that, at least where the headlight part was, back on it, and we'll see what it looks like, and see if we can get the headlights to, try to be roughly in those holes. Let's give her a little weight reduction. Get that bent off part out of our way. We still may use it over, but it'll be easier to straighten, not attached. Off with your head. Grab a straight edge. I can't cut a straight line to save my life. Edge up real quick with a grinder, and then we'll lay it back up there and see how it kind of wants to, do that. I push the lift back further, and we're just kind of hanging from the rafters, kind of seeing where we want it, and kind of screw around with the winch. I'm thinking if we could place it probably right about there. We don't want to go much lower. The only thing is we have to try to suck in more towards the radiator. Although, this is just plastic. We can cut the base of this open a little bit. I don't think we're going to block much of the wind now that we have a working fan. So that's what I think we're going to go pick away with. Maybe we'll cut the 2 legs off of this right here, and we'll use those for starting points. We'll mount them back down to where they were down at the base, and we'll come up off of them, and we'll see how that, you know, kind of lines up. Then we can kind of build off of that. We'll just kind of get things, you know, roughly where they want to be, and we can kind of keep tweaking from there. That should make a little bit of difference for this quad is getting built for my wife, and trust me, this is needed. She called me up once, and oh, she's gonna laugh when she hears the story, watching the video. She calls me up, she goes, I got the ATV stuck, the other one, and I go there. She's in. I said, stay on the trails, don't go in the woods, you know, you're not used to it quite yet. She's in the middle of the woods. There's a tree 2 inches from the front, dead center, and a tree 2 inches from the back, dead center. The thing was wedged right in. I'm like, how'd you even get it in there? So trust me, this is needed. So let's continue on. I'm gonna go cut those off, and we'll bolt them to the bottom and see how they line up. I pushed a work table back, give us some room in front to work here and film. This is just hanging from the ceiling from a strap. It's kind of sitting there. We've got the 2 pieces put on, and it's kind of eyeballing where things would go. Like I said, the winch is kind of cut into that air box somewhere. But I want to start finalizing this, and then we'll worry about where the winch is going to get mounted. So my thinking is, let's hog these pipes out on a curve so that they'll kind of mate up to this surface. Maybe we'll get them kind of where we want it, put a tack on each one of them. We can always take it apart if we want to later. But we'll start working on the structure, where it's going to go fit, and work our way back afterwards, making a mount for the winch plate. So let me go take a grinder, do a little bit of that, try to save the camera and not film it, and we'll keep moving forward. So what's the saying? If it looks straight, it is straight. I don't know if it looks straight, but that's what we're going with. So it's welded, well, it's tacked on those 2 pieces down below. We can kind of move it around just a little bit. We can get rid of the strap. I'm thinking we could take the plastic, maybe we'll put that back on. It's kind of a pain in the ass because you have to wrap it around the shifter, but I want to get that in place because there's a couple of contact points that, you know, help support that plastic. You can see on the old front bumper, the brackets that were on it. So like these arms, we're going to go, you know, to get some lateral support. These have to go on. I think these were for holding the plastics. And I think there was a couple of tabs on there somewhere also, right? Those right there. So keep picking away, but let's get the plastic drop down around the front of it, and we'll see how things are lining up. It's got a tappy face on. More of a grin to it. So let's get these, like where the upper supports, upper, lower, middle, yeah, because this is the top right here. Let's cut these off, and they went, where did they go? I want to say it was right in here somewhere, right there. See how close we can come to reaching something out here to go grab, give us a little bit of support, and then at that point we could probably start looking at the winch where that's going to fit in. Let's go hack them off. Hacka. Yeah, that's the best way to get it, like that. Whoa, look at the rust that came out of that. No water got inside that frame. Go hack off the other and walk them over there. Yeah, both of them, you can see how much closer that other bar was. I think this one, you know, it bellies out much further than the first one did, which is good because it's going to give us room for the winch. But we are about 3 inches shy. I wonder if we can come find a piece of pipe maybe that'll slide over this. And we could probably even go all the way back to here with a little bit more girthiness to it. Let's go check the stash, see what we can find. Something that'll fit on that. And into the stash of metal. That one looking at us right in the eye as we walk in. That is so close. Look at the thickness of that too. Maybe we'll steal that. It's like asking to be used. Let's go use it for a pry bar. Let's go see if there's anything else. That was way too easy. Here's a winch plate. This is for like a full size, like a truck or something. That's what that is. What we got down here? What's that? Has a little bit of play in it. Might be good if we can find a length of that. I might have. That's like links that you would buy. Most everything here is you know, stuff that's been used off of something else. It doesn't know a stash. I think that first piece that we got is good enough. Let's grab some square stuff with us too. What else is in here? Just bring that over with us, just as we, because we got to make a frame up anyway, right, for the winch. So yeah, we'll bring that one. That's over there. More square tubing. Another piece of. That's gonna be too big. What about that red stuff? Let's go see if that. Nope. So I pulled the front end in a little bit further. I don't know, we got about an inch between there. I wouldn't want to go any closer than that. And I don't know, we're still far apart by, let's call that roughly 2 inches. Let's go make like whatever it is to that first bend right there. And we'll cut off some pieces. Go 6 and a half, 6. And then we'll be able to slide it right over to here. We'll clean that up. We may bend these. I'm thinking we take these and kind of bend them in a little bit. So we meet right at this point where all the joints kind of meet together. That's where we, the only thing that sucks though, that is gonna make the bottom nice and strong, but we still need something definitely up above that goes back. Did this thing even have a rack on the front? Do you remember? I don't remember if it did. We could probably go with trying to get to that point. There's a cover that goes over this. But maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll come off the front and we'll scoop down. We'll grab that. That'll give us a decent amount of strength. Is that something strong under it? That goes right to the top of the shock mount. That looks like a good place to go. Yeah. Good. Glad you mentioned it. All right, let's go hack off a couple of pieces. We'll slide them on there for reference, and then maybe we'll start with seeing how the winch is going to fit in there and how we're going to like that setup. Oh, that rack that you took off? You tell it's been a little while, so let's take it apart. Let's go throw that up there real quick, see where that lines up with the front setup. Yeah, there we go. I think we could bridge, because here's those tabs right there, so we could probably come out straight across to them. I like to make it so that that location can be unbolted. Let's see where we are. Kind of lining right up with this. And will that give us enough strength? That pretty much does what we were talking about. That rack is much heavier. The rack weighs 3 times what that original front bumper did. So yeah, maybe that'll work out for us. We'll just kind of come out with a metal tab from there, something really thick, and we'll just bolt it to that. So this bolts down there, out here, and then this corner will be boxed in. That'll be boxed in, and that'll be locked. So it'll be locked there, there. I shouldn't say boxed, and there. That makes it all one piece going across. We may still kind of grab someplace from the middle of it. All right, as we were, let's go cut those little pieces of 6-inch piping, get them in here, and we'll try to wiggle the winch in and see how it looks. I got them slid on. I think that's pretty good right there if we catch it. We might even be able to, if we want to bend it, probably come up. If we want, bend it out to here. Kind of split the load up a little bit. Let's get the winch, and we'll see how much room we need. That might be the best bet. Maybe we'll try to come out a little higher up here. What about the tire turning? Let's go kick that. That might be in the way of that though. Remember that suspension goes up. Here's the edge of the tire right there. We can kick it out a little, maybe we'll split the difference. Maybe right there. All right, big girl, get in there. So we want to get up roughly into, when it's centered, Yeah, see that this pipe's going to be in the way. Does it matter if can we kick it to one? You know, ideally this would be good to spool it in the center. I wonder if we can try to keep it maybe just like that. Instead of like that, we go there. Let's plastic's in our way. Let's go take a Sharpie. We'll mark some of that plastic. We'll wiggle that out enough where we can get the winch to sit up in this area right here. So I'll notch this out. I guess we could always move it later too. Might end up cutting like this whole ductwork right out of here. But let's go for now. We'll be a little on the minimal side. We'll go from there. I wonder if we can. I think the motor will clear. I'm going to temporarily mark it there, but realistically, it's going to be all the way to the edge over here. I'm going to do some notching. I wonder if we're able just to trim that. If we can leave the fins there, let's go see. I think I have enough room. I'm going to notch out for now. We'll just go straight across. I'll try to leave these here. I have a feeling we're going to have to get rid of all of it, but let's go see if that'll work. Rotate it. Gotta be like that. Might work. The mounting point can drop down. So if we were able to get the mounting plate that this sits on right there, I think we could leave the rest of it behind it. We still have access to the release. Yeah. Speak now. See anything that's going to go wrong, let me know. Let's go see about that mounting plate where we can kind of try to place it. Maybe we'll get a couple tacks on it. Let me back you up a little bit. I'm thinking something like, if we can get it right there, again, ideally it'd be good in the center, but I'm thinking we might just kick it over. Maybe to right there. I'm going to throw a bolt or two in the winch and we'll try to set it up and see. And I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. I'm going to try to, fudge fit that in there a little bit, and I'll bring you back when I come up with a solution. Closer to getting in, but this metal tab has to go. Slice that off. Yeah, I think we got it, and we could put it center too. It shouldn't be an issue. Plenty of room to go around it. Seeing underneath. I think what we can do too, once so this is the plate that's going to get permanently mounted to this. The fairlead can come off. We can weld it right across there, and what we'll do after these are attached, we should be able to put a bar across the back. We'll catch the back edge also, and that should really support us fairly good. We'll have it front and rear. So I'm going to take some time. I'm going to try to get this thing moving a little bit. I'm going to do some cleaning up, some tacking here and there, and bring those bars out, figure out where I want those. I think we're going to be able to come in probably right about here on this one. Again, the higher up, the better. I may even try to, no, we're not going to, we try to get up in this area, but I don't think it's going to happen. You're just going to have to go find out after you come back. Well, I think we've pretty much got it metal carved out as far as we need. I made some brackets to attach the upper rack to these, and they're fairly thick too. They got some, how you want to call them, short piece of angle, like a stubby angle. There you go. So those are ready to get buzzed on. It feels pretty, again, everything's just tacked with loose hardware. Stout. Threw the winch back in. A little tricky trying to wiggle it in there. I think I may cut the mustache down a little bit, maybe knock about an inch or so off of each side. Just a little bit more than what the body is. That way she knows if the front if the front fits through, then the rest is going to do the same. So I'm thinking I'm going to go around, I'm going to tack it in a bunch of different places, try to get it a little bit stronger. Then I'm going to remove the whole assembly, weld it all up, paint it black, put it back on. And the only thing I didn't add, there was brackets right here that, again, the frame was closer, that attached these points. Again, all the screws are still loose. I'm going to see how it is afterwards. We may come back and visit that, may just leave it alone and not put them on there. We'll see. I like it. Even this kind of goes back almost in the same place. Here's the mounting holes for that. And I think we'll be close enough. If not, I'll just open the the plastic holes up a little bit for the bottom skid plate. Looks pretty tough. All right, weighs, I don't know, 25 pounds hanging off the front of it too, though. All right, I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna try to get all the plastics back on. Hopefully, if it's anything weird in between, I'll stop and film it. But for the most part, I want to get her buttoned up and see if we can put this thing around a little bit. And about 45 minutes later, just made sure I didn't have any pinched wires, and took my time with any hardware that needed to be replaced with something decent. Jam nuts on them and that kind of thing so they don't back off. And the front end, no complaints whatsoever. Got her all welded up and painted up. I ended up kind of putting the winch on the frame of it and supported it from the strap again. Kind of just lowered it, supported it, guided it in, we'll go with that, into place, and then just put it's essentially 6 bolts that lock that whole front end on. With those 6 bolts off, you can just remove it with the winch, and then you just have to remember to unbolt the 2 wires that are on it. But I like it. Definitely strong. I took the caps that were on that other front bar over there. I think they were on the top up here. Put them on there, and until the first branch that she hits here and slides down the side of it, rips them off. But at least it'll keep water out. I like it. I'm gonna go put the battery on a trickle charger for tonight, and then we'll go lower her down and see how she does. Before I forget, I went to the swap meet this weekend and got some other cool things for other videos, but free pile was a set of tires. I asked them what they were off of. You know what they were off of? A Yamaha Kodiak. So we got 2 front tires, 2 rear. One of the front tires I know is no good. The cords are coming through on one of them. Not that one, or the one below it. But the other 3, there you go. You can see the wires hanging out. But the other 3 are good, so we got spares. We've got one front tire that is leaking slowly on that. So we'll replace that, and we'll hold on to those 2 just in case. I forgot my ramps. See how well this works. No problem. Let's go for a ride. Yeah, it's like we're gonna have to hop a couple of trees. See how it does in 2-wheel drive. No problem. Uh-oh. Yeah, that one might be an issue. Let me see if I can drag it out of the way. Yeah. fridge open. Brought a chainsaw with me. Time to choke off the rest of the way. Idle should come down. Yeah. Suspension is actually quite nice. Takes the bumps well. A water crossing. Yeah, this one performs much better than the other one. Automatic, you don't have to shift. You know, it's got a low range too if you really get it stuck in the mud, but it seems like it pulls pretty good. Yeah, she's gonna like this machine a lot better than the other one. The other one, it was always in four-wheel drive, so when you went to go make any kind of turn, it would fight you on the handlebars because, you know, the inside tires are trying to turn, same speed the outside tires are, and it just bites because on four-wheelers, the rear end's a locked differential. So in two-wheel drive, you can kind of break the rear tires loose. It'll slide around the corners. I almost tipped it. A little too rough of a bumpy area to try doing donuts. Gotta be careful too, because in the leaves there's stuff hiding. You can't see the tips of the rocks and stuff that are popping through. Just an old four-wheeler that burned up on the side of the trail up here. My feet are wet. That's a good thing we washed it and cleaned it up all nice. Didn't take long for that to get muddied up. Yeah, but that's what they're for. Let's go show you what I'm talking about. We looked at it once before. It was a Suzuki, like a 230 two-wheel drive. Just about doing a wheel around on that, huh? Oh, it's a Yamaha. You need any parts? is it tool drive? Yeah, it's tool drive. No front axles going to it. Wait a minute. It says Yamaha there, and it says Suzuki on the engine. Take your pick. Let me know what you think it is. All right, let's go continue to do a little bit of riding. That's nice. One more. I take a little bit of a break. I've run it for about a half hour or so. I ran it through high range, low range, reverse, forward. Everything seems good. The drive belt seems fine. I was going to open that up and see what kind of condition that was in, because the machine was mostly used for plowing a driveway, and that has a tendency to you know, smoke a spot of it. Generally when that happens, you feel like a lot of slipping in the trains, and you'll feel like a vibration, especially if like one spot of the belt has a wear spot in it. Every time it goes around and goes around the pulley, the belt's a slightly different size. It kind of like have a frozen link on the chain. Has that same kind of feeling to it. Seems perfectly fine. You boot it, you hear it rev up. That's just the back tires doing wheel spin the whole time. So it's functioning everything like it should. The only thing I kind of screwed up on is on the dashboard. There's two bulbs I have backwards, one for the neutral light, and for the light for the display is backwards. So you go to put it in neutral, the light lights up. When you turn the headlights on, the neutral light lights up. So I just got to pop that cover off and flip them around. But it seems pretty good. I haven't smashed it against any trees yet to test that front bumper, but we'll see. We'll leave that for my wife to try, because it will happen, trust me. This should work out really well for her. Like I said, the four-wheel drive that she has now, which is the standard trans, it's got automatic clutch, but you have to shift it through the gears. And because it's always in four-wheel drive, anytime you go to make a sharp turn in the woods, you have to put a lot of muscle into the handlebars. This, compared to that one, is like having power steering. So, worked out good. Other than my screw up of, I guess, not tightening the jet up in the carburetor, getting that squared away. It happens, right? I'm not one to hide my mistakes, so be it. I got the other tire to go put on. I sprayed it down. It looked like the leak may have stopped already on that tire, so I'm just going to keep an eye on it. If the level starts to change over time, if I start seeing loose air, I do have another tire to go put on there. And again, we have spares for the future when they get holes in them. So, awesome little machine. It goes good. It's I'm trying to go with the right word would be, it is matched really well. The power for the drivetrain, the size of the tires, the size of the machine, seems like it does really well. Alright guys, with that I'm going to go sign off, and I'll think, yeah, we're hanging out doing some wrenching with me, having a little bit of fun. I'm going to go play for a little while longer in the woods, see if I can make it through that swamp up to our camp. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Later. What? Test the winch? Alright, I'll test the winch. See what we get. See if you can pull a tree down on top of me. That ought to do it. Sure hope reverse works. That's gonna suck. Is that what they mean by tree hugger?